how did we sell 17 franchises through Facebook and Instagram ads? So this video is going to be about a case study or a breakdown of how our team managed to sell 17 new franchisees into investing money and opening up new stores for a client locally in Montreal. So how did we sell 17 franchises through Facebook and Instagram ads? Now, just for some context of this client, I'm going to explain a bit what kind of franchises he runs, the profile of this client, and what led to him wanting to start running ads and then hiring us into the team and then helping them sell even more franchises. So the client owns a portfolio of at this point, 7 different brands. The franchise focuses on QSR or what we call quick service restaurants. So kind of like fast food in a bit, but it really focuses on takeout, a small location, a small store, and there's not a lot of seating places inside of each store, and they're mainly focused on Uber Eats or takeout deliveries or people that just come and grab and go, maybe during like office or lunch hours, students, etc. 7 different brands. They also sell different things from like sushi, from onigiris, poke bowls. So that's what he really focuses on. And at this point, this client has over 100 locations across the city and the general region, and that's not for each brand, that's total including all the brands together. And then he already has a pretty strong brand, I would say a pretty good social media presence as well. But over time, the way that he's been able to scale to the 200 locations throughout the last decade was mainly through referrals. So people referring new franchisees to come in. There's also his personal network that helped a lot, and a few events that he hosted. So what I mean by events here, personal network. And in terms of events, there's these things called like franchise shows or expos, events for interested potential franchisees. And this has been pretty much how he's been able to grow all his brands at this point. But now what he wanted to do is he wanted to target people that are outside of referrals. So no more referrals, not people from his network and not people from events, and really start targeting cold and new franchisees. And that's what we were hired and came in to do. And the very first thing that we did is we started producing ads, and we sold all the franchises through Facebook ads. And you might be surprised, but people were spending upwards of $200,000, $250,000, or maybe even $300,000 per franchise locations. And yes, it does sell through ads very well, and I'm going to explain to you what we did in this video. And I'm going to put on the screen here also so you can see, like we have the client's testimonial over here. This is the client's website, a bit about his social media profiles, and I'm going to explain to you right now what exactly did we do in terms of the ads. But before, I'm going to explain to you what we did with the ads. The process is actually pretty simple. We make video ads on the front, and these are anywhere from like 30 to 60 seconds ads, sometimes even upwards of like 2 minutes. Very short and direct ads, and we can see it kind of like these are like a direct pitch. So who is it for? If you're this X, if you're X, Y, and Z person, you're looking for these kind of opportunities, we have a potential option that we can offer you, which is the franchise, which is the brand. So we're being very direct with our ads to target the people that we're looking for, and then they come in and they start filling the application. So nothing crazy, very typical. And something I wanted to point out is typically you might see other franchise brands, they also run ads, but the mistake that they make is they run like very generic ads or some like a simple image about their brand, about what their brand in general, and then expect people to fill out an application. It's not that it doesn't work, but what we were really looking for here is our clients' brands were known, but they're not like McDonald's, they're not like Burger King. They're more like local, and we have to be a lot more direct and punchy with the ads. We like to disclose a lot more information about the ads as well. I'm going to put a few of them on the screen here so you can see what kind of ads they look like. They're actually very simple. Most of them are shot on an iPhone with the client, so you don't have to have a very high production. Like the cost of production is actually pretty low, and it's not the main thing that helped. So we have the ads running. The leads fill out an application. Of course, we put some qualifications that they need to have, especially when it comes to their income, their credit, or what they're looking for. Some background checks as well. So they fill out an application, and then someone here is going to check the application and then book them a meeting with their director of sales. So once the lead is qualified and then they book the meeting with the director of sales, what happens next is either a virtual, more in-depth meeting, or like even an in-person visit at one of the locations so they can see what it looks like. They can see the operations, they can see the customer flow, the clientele, what it looks like on a normal day when the business is running. And it's really half and half. Sometimes people prefer more like a virtual meeting. This is more to answer like technical questions. And then in person is really when they want to see what it looks like. And most of the time, actually, they do both. So they start with the virtual meeting first, answer a few like very technical questions, things about numbers, and then once everything checks out for them, they do an in-person visit. And why we have someone else here come in to handle the first contact is because the lead, we had a lot of leads and the volume was high. We wanted to prioritize great meetings with the director of sales, and the person at the front, the salesperson at the front, was mainly trained to provide a great customer service and qualify the person properly. And only for the people that are qualified, then we send them and book a more longer and more in-depth meeting with the director of sales. And at that point, after that, then they schedule a time where they're going to put down the deposit, sign a contract, sign what they call a franchise agreement or the FA, and then pretty much it's a closed agreement. And then they schedule like the onboarding and the rest, but that's really outside of our zone of control. We really don't handle it. What we do help them with is everything from the ads to the qualifications, the sales, and even the follow-up until the leads close. Now, a very few things I wanted to point out is it looks easy, but the main thing that we did that really allowed this whole campaign and this whole strategy to work is that we have to remember and we have to be mindful that it's not because the lead came in and they saw like in the span of 30 to 60 seconds, like one video, that they're going to drop $200,000 and open up a store, especially if they're cold and they don't know you. That's not what I mean. And what the ad was really here for is to get them curious and interested. And the way that these ads are targeted, we're only targeting people that are actively looking in the market for opportunities like that. We're not targeting the people that are window shopping. We're not targeting the people that are maybe thinking about it. No, we don't want those people yet. They're not at a point where their brand has grown where they need to look for all those future customers. We only focus on the most hot and the most motivated and committed leads first. And then maybe by the time you're watching this video, now we've grown to a point where we're really starting to look for future customers, because those are usually more expensive to acquire, and I'm going to get into the cost later on in this video. But the point is, we focus on getting people curious, interested, just enough, which is why the ad is very short, and then after the follow-ups and nurturing is really what brings the lead on board. And how you can think of it this way, how it works is you can see the timeline. What we did is, if let's say this is the ads and this is when they close and pay, we first bring the person curious and interested to fill out an application over here, and this part over here is the easy part. Then we qualify the person over here. A lot of them are not going to be qualified and have the money, or they want to open up a new store within the next 1, 2, or maximum 3 months. And this here, our salesperson takes care of it to qualify and filter. And then the most important part comes after over here, the part in pink. Here we're still running ads, we can say, over here. And remember, what's important over here is the follow-up, is the nurturing. And I talk a lot about this in all our videos, and it's a main reason why we've been able to sell so many, we can say, expensive products. We generate leads, and the leads end up spending tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. In this case, they're spending anywhere between $150,000 to $250,000 to open up a new store. And we sell them straight through cold ads when they don't know us. Like this part I'm explaining right now is what a big part of what really makes this work. We have to remember, these leads, they don't know you. They're interested, yes, but they don't know you. It's not like referrals where there's like a middle point of contact, someone has referred. In other words, it's missing a trust factor that we have to build absolutely in this part that I'm talking about, this pink part over here. And how do we do that is we have to look back at all the deals that has closed before. Like typically, like what do they go through? What's the process like? And then we replicate the exact same psychology and the process, but with the ads. So for example, remember when I said the ads, the first ads I see, it's kind of like a pitch, an elevator pitch, like who the ad is for, what they're looking for, here's what we offer, A, B, and C. And if you're this type of person that we're looking for, and this is what you're looking for as well, just click through the video, fill out the application, and then someone's gonna reach out to you. Like this ad is a pitch, right? But now the ads that are running over here, they're not a pitch. And what they are instead is trust building assets. So what we have running over here is like testimonials from previous and current franchisees. So we do have people that go and film with pre-approval, of course, from the franchisee that wants to get on a video. Like, how's the business like on a day-to-day? What's their experience like working with this brand? Like, how much do they make if they want to disclose that? What are the pros and cons? What do they like about it? What they wish to improve? So general like testimonial videos that would help when we retarget those interested in qualified leads with that kind of content. We have Q&A, so question and answers, or also like different FAQs, so most frequently asked questions they might be wondering about. We have also, I'm going to show you a few examples examples on the screen right now, but we also have like YouTube videos where we have a walkthrough of every new store that's opening. So this is good because we're actively showing that there's consistently new franchisees that are opening up new stores. So that's a lot of proof and that's a lot of credibility for the brand. And that's what we're looking for to do here. What we're really looking to do in this part is really to build trust over here. This is really what we're looking to do. And we're just replicating everything that typically the person, what would get them to trust us, what would get them to really believe us. And this is the missing piece. Like they're interested, they're motivated, they're qualified, they have the money, and they want to open within the next 1, 2, or 3 months. But now the only thing missing is the trust. Like, how can I trust you? So we put everything that helps with bringing up their trust in this video. We also have educational videos about how to run the business, what problems they might be running into, how to solve them, breaking down costs, operational costs, labor costs, day-to-day business, like how much profit they can make, how they can optimize to make more profits. And that is done with the client and actually the owner. The owner spends time filming all those valuable content that's going to help close and increase the trust with the leads. And of course, there's other things, other materials, but pretty much this is the key point. And we film videos for each of these type of content, and then we retarget the people that are qualified here. And imagine by the time that the lead shows up to an in-person visit, or they show up to a virtual meeting with the director of sales, like how much more warm or how much more pretty much sold they would be and convinced they would be, and how much easier it would make it for the director of sales to close the deal or sign the agreement with the new franchisee. Not all the time will they already be convinced. That's why they have the first calls, that's why they have the in-person visit. But the key point here is in between all those times, like where they have the back and forth calls with the director of sales, where they have the in-person visits, we want to constantly hammer them with these kind of trust building content. And also like we consistently bombard them with these kind of, we can say propaganda ads in a way, like marketing ads. What we're really looking to do is to do anywhere between 25 to even upwards of 50 touch points. And I've only explained content ads that we're running here to retarget, but there's also email where there's a lot of like dense information packed emails. Like we're not just sending, hey, by the way, did you see my proposal? Hey, by the way, did you see our franchise agreement? Hey, did you think about it? We're not sending those kind of emails. We're sending very information dense and packed information that will help the lead and the potential franchisees come to a decision. So email, SMS. So we're pretty much hitting, let's say this is the person, we're hitting them from all different angles when we follow up. And the point here is to really get to that 25 to 50 touch points. And usually on average, by the time to get that amount of touch points, then they're really, really, really warm. And by the way, like this is all condensed in a very short period of time. Like before, maybe the sales cycle might take longer for them to close because the salesperson were not that trained and follow-up timelines were a bit longer. But now what we're really doing is we basically took their typical sales cycles, what each lead goes through in terms of touch points, and we're really packing that and condensing that in a very short amount of time, like within 2 to 4 weeks, and to really speed things up to close. Like the goal is that every month we have new deals and new franchisees that are onboarded and new contracts that are signed. So that's made an entire difference within the campaign, and that's how we've been able to sell new franchises to strangers, pretty much people that didn't know the brand, and all that through Facebook and Instagram ads. Of course, the last step over here is just simply closing a deal, and then what comes afterwards is really at that point is not what we handle. It's they have their own team that handles it. So let's break down the numbers over here. I'm going to explain to you a few things, how much we spend and how much the client could be making. Now, I want to be clear here. These numbers are just an estimate and they're a forecast. They're not really exact, but I'm gonna show you the power of advertising and what it can really make. So here, just on the front end, not even on the back end, let's assume each new franchisees, they spend on the front end $200,000 to open up a new store in total investment, which is the average. Like sometimes it's lower, 150,000, sometimes it's higher, like 250,000. But for this client's brand in his portfolio and what he focuses on, the type of franchise model that he focuses on, it's really between $150,000 to $250,000 to open up a new store. And we just took an average of 200,000 in this case. The fluctuations really depends on the location, on the construction, and any other customizations you make. But let's assume $200,000 per store. He's already collecting in sales $3.4 million in front-end sales. Of course, this is just like front-end sales. It's not like he doesn't pocket all that. And that includes inside of it like a $35,000 deposit, or like franchise fees, we can say. That's what he collects. But the lead is spending on average $200,000 per store. So 3.4 million on the front end. And really the front end is really not his main profit generator. Like this covers the ad cost, this covers the sales commissions, this cover the broking, the leasing, and all those things to really get a store up and running. I don't know the exact profits he's making, and I shouldn't be asking that, but I'm just breaking down some of the numbers to you. As long as the front end is covering all the front end costs, we're in a good place. Now, on the back end, of course, most franchises, they make their money from royalties. So of course, an 8% royalty. Let's assume he's averaging $600,000 per store per year, which is the average, depending on like the location. Like sometimes they make 400,000 a year, sometimes they make 800,000, and even upwards of $1 million in sales per year, and sometimes it exceeds even that $1 million sales per year, depending on the location. But just for the sake of this video, we're going to average it and be conservative and assume that they make, each one of those stores are producing $600,000 in sales per year. At 8% royalty with 17 stores, that's already $816,000 per year just from the royalties. And of course, here I put others. We have like things such as like supply chain, distribution, packaging, and other back-end mechanisms that allow the overall portfolio of franchises to generate even more profits. But you can see how much they can afford in terms of the ads and cost per acquisition. Like, why am I breaking these numbers down? Is because on our side, we spent, in order to close these 17 franchisees, we spent around $100,000, maybe just a little bit more. I don't remember the exact number, but around $100,000 on all the ads, all the content put together. And it might seem like a large number, but after breaking down those numbers to you, they're still making a lot of ROI on the back end. And I have to also disclose to you transparently that like some of these franchisees, when it's good, the franchisees might stay for like 3, 5, 10 years at a time. So then the royalties, they really do compound, but not all of them are going to stay. Some of them decide to sell their store in the middle. Some of them decide to refund after. Usually they offer like a 30-day refund period. Let's say they put down the deposit, but then for some reason they don't want it anymore, and then they refund the deposits to them. Not all franchisees, they end up wide in terms of the possibilities. Not all of them are going to stay for very long, but I would say for this client, he's doing pretty well, like 100+ locations. And franchisees, they do one great thing that I know is that a lot of the franchisees, they open 3, 4 more locations afterwards over the next few years. So they stick with the brand for a long time. The system is good, the marketing is good, cash flow is good, the results is also good, which is why it's pushing many of the franchisees to open up 3, 4 more stores. That's still within a good, manageable, you can say manageable place for them, even if they have 3, 4 other stores running. So overall, the brand is good, especially for his business model where it's focused on QSR, quick service restaurants, easy management, low cost, optimized for high profits. A lot of their franchisees are able to open up multiple stores. So it's good for his brand. And we do mention that in the ads as well. So long story short, this is really how we were even able to sell franchises to strangers through Facebook and Instagram ads, or like we can say social media ads. And a lot of the people, they don't understand how to run this. I've just simplified it in this video. But if you have something that's expensive, you have something that requires a lot of like strong lead qualifications when it comes to generating leads, we help you with that through video ads, running these ads online and helping you with qualifying them and nurturing them. And on our portfolio as a marketing company, we mostly have clients that do sell these high cost either investment products or services that do cost upwards of tens and thousands of dollars or even $100,000s. And that's our model. So if you have any questions, you can let us know. If you're interested or you have a product or service you'd like us to help you sell through advertising and marketing, then you can also reach out to us.